NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico and Barry.
And we've got the degenerate Bostonian, but not to go without any time, RJ Eskinos from Emerald City Hockey. He is here. Thank you, RJ, for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk about the Capo Caco trade. We're going to get right into it, buddy. Capo Caco to the Seattle Kraken. Do you love this ad? I like it a lot. And just go ahead and go with what you got.
Yeah, I like this trade. It's fun. Thank you, by the way, for having me on at such short notice here to talk about this deal. I've been ready to talk about it since the news broke. Really, it's something that Dylan and I actually kind of saw coming. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast on Monday, a few days ago, as a deal that might make sense for the Kraken. We talked about Kakko. We talked about Dylan Cousins as a couple potential ads the Kraken could make. And looking at the way this deal came together, it just made so much sense, especially with Will
Dylan
Borgen
Cousins being would be nice too.
He would. He was the guy I was a little bit more excited about, but of course he would cost a lot more. I think Kakko is probably the better, lower cost option for the Kraken, but it just makes sense for both sides. I think with Will Borgen going back to the Rangers, I like Will Borgen. I think he's a really good player. He's the kind of guy who can benefit you a lot more in the playoffs than in the regular season, where he's a big physical guy. A lot of the stuff he does best, it gets called for penalties in the regular season, right? He can't play the way he really wants to. He's kind of got that wrestling background. He was a wrestler in high school. In the playoffs, they don't call that stuff. So he's kind of had a down regular season this year, and he's actually been outplayed by Josh Mahura, one of the Kraken's depth defensemen there. And I think he's just kind of lost that spot. He's a pending UFA. Made sense to move him. And if you can bring in a guy like Capo Caco, who the Kraken are going to have the rights to. He's a pending RFA, so he's a guy who can fit for now and the future. He adds to your forward core a little bit. Look, he's not a star player that people maybe thought he was when he was drafted, but the big thing for me is that he brings some size, because the Kraken just have an undersized forward group, and Kakko is pretty solidly built. And so hopefully, I think what they're hoping is that he can kind of help get to the inside, maybe generate a little bit more depth scoring. Because you look at the Kraken's last game against Ottawa, they were shut out 3-0. It was an ugly game. Linus Ullmark was pretty good. He had a good game in that one, but there was zero net front presence from anybody. There are just too few guys on this team that are willing to do that. And I hope Capo Caco is going to change that at least a little bit.
Real quick, do you think he's top six right away? I think they could play him on the top line. What are your thoughts there, where they play him in the lineup?
I think he's going to slot into the top six right away, and we'll see where they put him. I know I talked to Dylan about this. He thinks the best fit would be with someone like a Chandler Stevenson, where the Kraken have been struggling to find line mates for Chandler Stevenson. It feels like he's kind of dragged everybody down that he's played with this season. Jared McCann has been stuck on a line with him. I'd love to change that up, but I think that Stevenson and Kakko actually could be pretty good fits together. Kakko goes to a lot of the right areas. He goes to the slot. He can kind of get net front, and Stevenson can find guys in those positions. And then Kakko, when he's at his best, can finish from those areas. So I'd put him with Chandler Stevenson, which, yes, that would be a top six line.
Yeah. If I'm a Kraken fan, I'm really excited about this trade. I know people, the empty netter guys told me tonight, they called him a bust. I don't know how you call a guy who's played over 300 games in the NHL a bust. That being said, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to word this correctly. I think the Rangers bungled his development. I think they rushed Lafreniere. I think they rushed Kakko to the NHL. I think both these guys should have played in the AHL longer than they did. Do you think Seattle has the infrastructure in there to kind of correct some of the mistakes that was made by the New York Rangers, or you think he is what
it's a good question, and I would hope so, that they have the ability to give him more opportunity. I think he's averaging less than 14 minutes of ice time this season, as well as last season. And look, the Rangers were a very good team, right? They were a cup contender, and so it's hard when you have a young player who you're trying to give opportunities to develop, when that's the case. And so I would hope that the Kraken, look, they're not a cup contender right now. They're on the outside looking into the playoff picture. You maybe have the chance to give them a little bit more ice time. I do worry about it a little bit, just given kind of how they've treated Shane Wright recently, where he still doesn't have more than 16 and a half minutes of ice time in a game in his whole career. I think they have been kind of hesitant with those top guys, but hopefully Kakko being a little bit older, you don't have to worry about kind of shepherding him along. You can throw him into the deep end, see if he sinks or swims. And that's something that's going to be really important for you to know by this offseason, because his contract is going to be up. He's an RFA. He's got arbitration rights. So that number could get maybe a little iffy if he doesn't play well, right? You have to know whether you want to keep him around in the longer term or not. And so you got to see what you have in him. I think you have to kind of throw him into the deep end right away.
Right. Yeah. Then thus the top 6 minutes there. Yeah. And like our friend Avi says, plus minus could be misleading, but stats at this time, Mika's a -17, Kakko's a +9. I agree with them. Move the wrong player, trade the older vet. That's what our friend Avi Hoffman says in the chat. Don't disagree with that at all. Okay. I mean, I feel like this is enough, RJ. Is there anything else you want to pontificate about? Like, I mean, I'm amazed because tomorrow is the freeze, right? Tomorrow is the last day they can trade players for the I think it's the 19th through the 27th, the holiday freeze or whatever. And I mean, we saw 2 trades today. If you didn't know, P.O. Joseph got moved back to Pittsburgh for future considerations. You expect the Kraken to be busy? Is Yanni Gourde on his way out the door? Are they going to start making some moves, or is it way too early yet?
Certainly not by the deadline. Like at the end of the day, I think we're seeing a little mini trade deadline for some teams that wanted to get something done after last game. Walking back, I think it was kind of the consensus among some of the media people I was talking to. They needed to make a move. And so if they were going to do that, they had to do it right now. But I think this is the move for now. Ron Francis is never all that eager to make a trade. It doesn't seem like he really likes to make a trade. Only will do that when he feels like he has to. So I wouldn't expect to see anything soon, but if the run of bad play continues, the more desperate they get. Like he's kind of fighting for his job right now. I think the Kraken have to make the playoffs in order for Francis to stay around. And so he knows that he's going to try and salvage the season as much as he possibly can. Again, I don't have any inside sources here with that, but that's certainly my read on it. I think if they miss the playoffs, he's probably gone.
Well, especially with Eberle being out for another 2 or 3 months since his injury. I think filling in that right side and getting Kaapo Kakko that can definitely play the right side too. I think that was a priority for them to fill maybe that spot. You're seeing Tanev playing up on the top line on the right side sometimes, where Kakko is a good big body. He's a high pick, high upside. I think it's a major steal for Seattle. And I know Kakko has been on the trade rumors for a while. I think the Rangers put him out at the deadline last year as well too, and nobody bit. So I'm glad the Kraken took him, man. It's a good trade in my opinion.
Just real quick, did you see what Emily Kaplan tweeted last year, that the Rangers were offered a first rounder, Frank Vetrano, and one other really good player from Anaheim, and they said no? So like, nothing against Will Borgen, but like this is what you ultimately got for Kaapo Kakko. I think it's an L for the Rangers. I agree with Avi. Does anybody have any other questions for Rico? I appreciate you chiming in. For RJ before we let him go, because I told him we would keep it under a little bit of time. He's got a hockey game to go to, so we can't keep
about 5 more minutes
from it. Yeah, we're good. Do you guys have any questions for him, Pearlo or our degenerate Bostonian friend Mike?
No, I appreciate you coming on, creating a better player out of Donato.
I do, if none of you guys do.
Yeah, Rico, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So I mean, they're bouncing around the 500 mark right now. They're either going to go up or down here, but who do you need to see more of on this Kraken team?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I think Andre Burakovsky is, I've almost given up on, maybe seeing a lot from him consistently, but he's kind of been the answer for most of this season. I think Burakovsky for sure. I mean, Matty Beniers, he hasn't been playing poorly, but his production has kind of tailed off a little bit. He's on a 16-game goalless streak. I think that's the longest of his NHL career. And he still is super solid in the D zone. He's doing all those little things that he does so well. But especially with Yanni Gourde being injured recently, he just hasn't been the same without Gourde kind of playing that little power forward role on his line. I mean, it's a lot of the forwards that just kind of need to step up to produce. The one line that's been consistently going for you is the Shane Wright line, where it's Tolvanen, Wright, and Bjorkstrand, and those three have been on fire. They are driving the bus, but I think we need to see more contributions elsewhere. I mean, Chandler Stevenson is also the obvious direction I could go, but I just don't know that he really has more in him. He's the exact same player he was in Vegas last year. He's the same player. He hasn't changed at all. The problem is that player just, wasn't all that good compared to what the Kraken ended up paying him.
We're all pulling for the Kraken here, so we all want them to make the playoffs. We're big fans of your show and the Kraken, so hopefully they get it turned around.
I appreciate that, Rico.
I got a question for you, and it's nice to hear someone agree with me with Chandler Stevenson. I didn't understand that signing at all, but you got a young guy there in Riker Evans who's just it seems to be getting better every game he plays. What does that say to you? Like, do you think they'll keep with Alexiak, move him down to the third pair eventually, or do you think maybe there might be a move there to be made with some of their young defensemen coming up?
Yeah, well, Riker Evans has been playing great. And while Vince Dunn was out, because Dunn missed a long stretch earlier this season, Riker Evans just slotted right into that role, playing with Adam Larson. And he was playing 23, 24 minutes a night, looking very good doing it. So I think he's absolutely ready for that if he is thrown into that situation. But there is kind of a logjam on D, right? You've got Vince Dunn, you've got Brandon Montour. Those are your big horses that are playing the big minutes. And especially they're taking up power play time too. Riker Evans, he's a good power play quarterback, and he was on the power play when Dunn was out, but now he's been moved off the power play because, of course, you've got Brandon Montour on one unit, Vince Dunn on the other. It's really hard to kind of get ahead of those two. As far as Alexiak, I don't see a move coming in the short term because he's played so well with Brandon Montour. Like, that D pair of Alexiak and Montour has been fantastic this season. Kraken aren't going to mess with it. Alexiak has, one more year left on his deal after this one. That's when I think, when we look at next season on an expiring deal, then we look into, okay, is a trade coming? But for the time being, I think the Kraken just love the depth that they have at the blue line. I think that's why they're comfortable dealing a Will Borgen. Because they have that kind of depth on the blue line. And maybe it does mean some more minutes for Riker Evans. It certainly means a new D partner for him. But that's a good question. I think he's playing really well, but I think they're fine just kind of easing him in.
Okay, I have one more thing for you, and I was going to ask you about Shane Wright. I know he's having a great year. He's really putting some points together. It's awesome to see people are giving up on that kid. You don't have to play in the NHL right out of juniors. It's not always a good thing. I had to mention the passing of David Bonderman. Obviously, he was the major guy that started getting the Seattle Kraken ball rolling there in Seattle. He passes away. I don't know, unexpectedly, because he was 82 years old. That's not necessarily a spring chicken anymore, but I hadn't heard he was sick or ill or anything. Just give on your parting way out thoughts on him. And I know they're doing a patch, and I heard you guys talking about it a little bit on your show, the Emerald City Hockey Podcast. If you guys don't know, this is the preeminent Seattle Kraken show. Watch Dylan and RJ. They are outstanding. They both come from hockey backgrounds, and they do a great job. They're there. They go to the games. I can't recommend them any more than I've already done so. We've had them on a bunch. So, but just give your parting words to Bonderman, and then thank you so much, RJ, for your time. I so much appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words, and again for having me on. And yeah, on the Bonderman thing, to kind of close things out, I mean, he's just such an influential person getting the actual NHL team to Seattle. I mean, I wouldn't be here talking to you about this team if not for him. And I think you mentioned the patch, and this is a good example of how the Kraken they really don't miss on this kind of thing, right? There's a 1 or 2 day turnaround to get a patch made and put on all the jerseys and everything after the news breaks. And I thought they absolutely nailed it. They've got, his nickname Bondo on it, but at the center of the patch is that Kraken eye, the red eye from the logo. That's iconic, right? And I don't know if you know the story, but awesome. He is the inspiration behind it. They had showed him a logo that didn't have the eye on it that looked roughly the same. And he said, well, what about an eye right there? Put a big red eye. And it just brings it all together. And it's just a fun anecdote that's really an example of kind of how instrumental he was to the franchise and everything that we know it as. So, tough news, in Kraken land, but I think the Kraken did a really good job kind of honoring him. That next game, they had lots of tributes and everything to him. They had his grandkids come out for the hero of the game and all that stuff. So I thought the Kraken really did a good, classy job on that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you giving us a little bit on that. I really wanted to hear your guys' opinion. I'd heard you talk a little bit about it on your show, but I really appreciate it. Again, 15 minutes, bro, right on the money. I told you. Thank you so much. Thank you, RJ. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.
Look forward to
appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
If you guys don't know, they also host a Beyond the Deep, I think, is their podcast that goes in depth. I'll get that for you. We'll just give you guys real quick score updates too, as far as what's going on in the NHL tonight. Pearlo, have you gotten your bearings about you as far as U.S. television? Wednesday night is TNT. The game you want to see is on TNT. Won't be on the ESPN Plus app, buddy. Sorry, but just about every big.
I gotta
so just about every basic cable thing you get, like if your apartment has cable, you get TNT. It's not anything that costs extra. And in the South, I think you can pick it. Yeah, so it shouldn't be too hard. You might actually, you might even be able to download the TNT app or whatever. If you pay for if you have Max with anything, like your phone plan gives you Max, you can watch the games live on Max as well. Okay, so that gives you that too. Panthers are up 2-1 on the Wild in the first. They got Barkov back, but now are missing Sam Bennett because they have the sickness. Canucks and Utah Hockey Club scoreless. Jets and Ducks are scoreless, but the Ducks have 12 shots to the Jets 2 after the first period. Told you guys that Ducks was a sneaky one.
Their
Maple Leafs own the Stars. The Maple Leafs the Maple Leafs have in the last 17 games have won 14 out of 17 games against the Dallas Stars. If the Maple Leafs go to the Stanley Cup Finals and play the Stars, they're winning the cup because they own that team. They dominated tonight 5-3. I heard Sammy McKay going 3-2. That'd be the real-time score. Leafs had a great second period, man. They look good. And then the Flyers lose to the Red Wings 6-4. I think Rico was on the Wings last night. I think I was on the Leafs because plus money, right? And the Leafs have been playing some good hockey. So that's all for the games tonight. Darkness, what's up, man? You guys had a trade today. P.O. Joseph back to Pittsburgh. I love that Doug Armstrong's not sitting idly by. By the way, Saad was in the chat. I just didn't want to chime in because it had nothing to do with what we were talking about. But Saad, I really appreciate it. I did hear Vancouver's trying to make a trade as well. I think Rutherford and Alvin are trying to add a defenseman like tomorrow. And I think Morgan would have been a guy they wouldn't have minded adding, actually. I heard there were a lot of teams looking at him. Right shot D, big body, just like RJ said, great in the playoffs. Probably not going to be real good in the regular season, but I think it was a good ad for the Rangers. They got to shore up their defense and quick, and they don't really need Kakko. But I think Kakko is going to flourish in the West. The West is a lot weaker than the East, big time. Their teams aren't as top heavy. So Tom Wallinder's coming probably after for BU. I don't see the Nucks doing much. They're going to make a trade, Avi. They're moving somebody. They might be moving somebody on that roster. I wonder if they got to get some defensive help there because they've got some injuries. They're trying to stay relevant. So I believe Saad in this one. He's usually not off, by the way. Saad's always chiming in on Vancouver Canucks stuff. So we got, I'm with you, Kakko. I think I'm with you, Darkness. I think the Kakko trade helps. It helps the Rangers now. Obviously, if they don't re-sign Borgen, it's a complete and total loss. But they did get a 3rd and a 5th round pick for this year. Those aren't awful. You can hit on those. You can get players out of those things if they're doing their due diligence with their scouting and stuff. So, Anyway, I want to hear all you guys' opinions on this trade. Now that we're going, we got a lot of people in here. I attribute that to RJ coming on early, but almost 30 some odd people watching us. So appreciate you guys. Rico, just give us your thoughts on the Kakko trade, man. Where are you at? And then obviously you could talk about the PL Joseph, the Leafs game. Just go to town, man.
Mm-hmm. No, I love it. And there's already New York Rangers fans saying that he was the scapegoat and it's easy to pick him off as a guy to bench when you can't just bench your top guys because career suicide for Lavi, so he's sitting Kakko. But again, he was mentioned in trade talks, even going back to last year as well. But I mean, high upside guy. Kakko had a great year in the Finnish Elite League where he played his draft year there. He had an awesome year, and that shot him up to number 2 in that draft. But he's a big body, and the biggest thing is because Eberle's been out, they just have nobody down that right side in Seattle. So Kakko's going to slot right in there in the top 6 on that right side. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's the number 2 pick. You give up a guy that's minus 13 this year as a defense in Borgen, but like RJ said, he's better in the playoffs. So a lot of those penalties, he's probably giving up power play goals right after when he's sitting in the box as well. So plus minuses and everything. But a big guy for the Rangers. They had to move him. And it's a bit of a shakeup there. So, no, I love the Kakko deal for Seattle. All I could see on Twitter is the Rangers fans are pissed. Again, best player in the trade. Team usually wins.
Yeah,
I agree. We're never going to know down the road. You know, we're going to have to wait till the 3rd or the 4th or whatever picks they got for him. So, I mean, that's good, man. I'm happy for the kid because obviously he wasn't happy. He's getting benched. And send him off to a team that's going to use him.
Yeah, I love it. Pearlo, go ahead, man. I know you talked a little bit about it.
There's a lot about this. I wanted Edmonton to give up their first for Kakko in the beginning of the year. This guy is is a burgeoning elite 2-way player. When he was drafted, I didn't know a single scout that said he was going to be a point a game guy. They said he was going to be a 50-60 point guy, possibly an elite 2-way guy. And I still think he
is an elite 2-way guy.
Yeah, he hasn't got to elite yet, but he's heading there. And to play
he's
with
still
Schwartz,
a half a point.
If they play him with Schwartz and Bernier and Beniers, that could be one of the best shutdown lines in the league, man. That is fantastic.
With Beniers and him on the top line, I agree with that 100%.
I think Seattle crushed it. I think Seattle absolutely
I agree.
It. So,
I agree.
And what was else I going to say about? Oh yeah, your point about I totally agree with you, Peter, about him being moved on way too. He should have been playing way longer in the minors than he did. It shows you how good of a player is that he wasn't ruined by playing too.
Well, and the same thing with Lafreniere. They almost ruined Lafreniere.
Yeah, and I think Lafreniere probably had a better chance to succeed than Kakko in that because he's so big and he has probably more skill. But they almost ruined him. I agree with you. And the fact that he was able to make it out of that situation is kudos to him.
I think we're going to look back on this trade and be like, Ron Francis did a solid. I hope he doesn't lose his job. But I do agree with RJ. I think I've heard some rumblings there that they're not happy and they may be firing Francis if they don't make the playoffs. But let's hope they don't. I'd like to see him get at least one more year there. And, it is funny, him being a former player, RJ saying he's a little reluctant to trade. He was a guy that was traded famously, right, from Hartford to Pittsburgh. I mean, it worked out for Pittsburgh. I mean, it put them over the top. They wouldn't win Stanley Cups without Ron Francis. I love Mario Lemieux, but he wasn't winning them by himself. You got to have that second line center, man. And Ron Francis is a Hall of Famer. By the way, massive man. Seen him in Toronto when I was there. He's massive. He looks like you could not knock him off the puck. Yeah, I know they need a D-man like Hronek said. That is good. I love what Avi says here. Kakko is 23. He's got 10 years left in the tank of playing great hockey. I agree. And Avi, he's so good of a defensive player that even if I think he could be a right-wing guy on any team in the NHL in the top 6. And be their number 1 PK guy and stuff like that. So I love the pickup for Seattle. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I love having the change of scenery. I'm hoping it's going to have the same effect when Donato left Boston. He struggled here, left, became amazing.
Yeah, he's been great for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, and you know what? Seattle was the team that really turned him around. So, based off what happened to Donato, I'm hoping that the same thing with Kakko. For the Rangers, I love the Rangers because I think their front office is awful, and I'm from Boston. We hate New York. So let's just keep it as simple as that.
Isn't Chris Drury a BU guy?
Yeah, but he's on the Rangers now, so he's pretty much dead to me.
I mean, okay. All right. Hey, real quick. Hot Take Hockey tweeted this out, and we're going to watch this. I'm going to cold watch this. This is a Rangers fan, Moon Pisces 444, talking about the Rangers trade here. And I want to hear what she says because Hot Take Hockey is like, we need to get her on the pod. Let's see if I can.
I saw this.
You saw this? Okay, let's see if it's okay.
Over in that organization. I am so fucking tired of all of you people. You got the second pick in the 2019 draft. And what did you do with him? You underutilized him and you made him the scapegoat for everything. Do you know what that must feel like? For anyone who's new, Capo is the scapegoat in the playoffs against Tampa Bay, even though he didn't do anything wrong, okay? And now, Peter Laviolette punishes him with barely any ice time for no reason. And he's right. It's because it's easier to do that than to sit a vet. And now he's gone. And who do you get in return? No-name people. Are you people ever going to be fucking happy? Ever in this organization? Do you like not having a cup in fucking 30 years? One cup in 100 years? Are you people fucking crazy? I'm serious. And you know what? I'm happy that Capo got to leave this piece of shit organization. Because all you ever did was waste his talent and treat him like shit.
Oh my God. That was pretty epic. Good for her, man. Yeah, Avi, I got a message in the chat for you. Just tell me if you'll do it because Salty was our guy. But we haven't Salty, we've been missing you, Salty. I hope you're with us, man. Salty and our good friend Logan Hacker. I think Logan is like a senior in high school now, and we're probably up too late for him on the East Coast, excuse me, because he lives in Tampa. So anyway, I just want to if you go Kim. Yes, we love Kim. We'll get Kim on, man. We got to have a little New York Rangers powwow. Maybe we get Hot Take on that day too. Get John and Kim are good friends. That's how I met her because I know John really wanted to talk about the Islanders, but the Sabres and the Rangers are such a dumpster fire. Look, it starts and ends with the Rangers. I think they just think their shit doesn't stink. The fact that you could do the regular season champions banner, that's the most ludicrous fucking thing I've ever seen. It's called the President's Trophy. Just put a President's Trophy banner up. The Capitals have like 3 of them. You know what it got them? Nothing. Bupkis. It means nothing. Why would you? I don't understand. Why would you put that up? It's such a terrible look. You know, if anything, take your Stanley Cup banner down, and be like, we don't have anything in the rafters. We're not putting another banner up until we win. Look, 1994 was a long time ago. This girl's not that old. She didn't see it, I mean, like we've had Laz on. I don't know how old he was. I feel bad, man. Like you guys know, my wife's a Rangers fan. I root for that team when they're not playing my team. It's just like, and I wanted to have a legit conversation with Johnny Lazarus today and almost coaxed him to coming on, but he's had to go to a PWHL game. But I wanted to talk to him earlier today, do a one-on-one debate because him and I got into it because he wanted to cover Steve Dangle saying the players met about Drury. The players can't do anything about the general manager. Even if the general manager is not treating them well, they can't do anything about it. But the story that I thought was huge, and I know Rico knows this, if you listen to Chicklets, Paul Bissonnette, Biz Nasty, talked about Sean Avery meeting with Jim Dolan. And this is the thing. It's widely known that Jim Dolan doesn't give a fuck about the Rangers. He lets the hockey people run. When Glenn Sather was there, he let I have the video. Andrew, I have the video from SDPN. I'll play it for you guys. I'll play what Steve Dangle talked about. And this is what Johnny Lazarus wanted to talk about on his hockey show today because a player reached out to them. That's fine. But here's what I'll tell you. Jim Dolan never is involved with the Rangers. He's never involved. So it's yes, thank you. if Sean Avery meets with Jim Dolan, because if you guys don't know, Sean Avery is kind of a renaissance man. He's in like movies. He'll just pop up on TV shows and we'll be like, holy shit, that's Sean Avery. He's connected in that city. And I think, he loved the Rangers. The fans loved him. Like they chant his name, Henrik's name. Like there's Rempe. Like he's my wife's favorite player behind Jaromir Jagr. So like, I just will say like I think something could come out of that. And the reason I think something could come out of that is watch Sean Avery break down stuff on Instagram. That dude knows hockey. And remember this, Sean Avery never took, he was never suspended for an on-ice play. He was a gritty pain in the ass, but he never did anything illegal to anybody on the ice. He got suspended for saying shit about dudes' girlfriends he used to date, which was absolutely a travesty. He should have got fined, but he should have never missed a single freaking game. And I think he ended up getting like 40 games, like, good God, man, Matt Cook didn't get 40 games for doing the dirty shit he did. So so that's why I think the Sean Avery thing is a big deal. I think Sean Avery talking to Jim Dolan is a big freaking deal. And if he could get Jim Dolan to give a shit about what's going on, it's clear they don't look good. And Laviolette, and what I've heard is the players don't hate Laviolette, but you guys know they can't make a trade if they're up against cap now. The Rangers aren't up against cap now. There's no way they are because they got rid of Jacob Trouba. But also Mike Rupp's report yesterday, which I thought was earth-shattering news, and no one's talking about it. He came out and said on Morning Cup of Hockey that he knows for a fact that the Rangers did not talk to Jacob Trouba until a week before they moved him. Everything else was done through his agent. He said that is absolute horseshit. And that's coming from Mike Rupp, who works for the NHL Network, covers games for the Pittsburgh Penguins, played for the Rangers, played for the Devils. I don't understand this. This is look, Don Sweeney and Cam Neely gave you a book on how not to run the show at the beginning of the year, and the Rangers read it and burned it because they're making the Bruins look like they know what they're doing. Like, this is awful. Again, too, an Original Six franchise that you kind of are ashamed of, in my opinion. So here's the Steve Dangle talking about the other thing, which I think is not as big a story because the players can't do shit. Okay, so here's Steve from via SDPN. I get this off Twitter. So
meeting. And the players only meeting was not to discuss Peter Laviolette. As far as I can tell, the relationship with Laviolette is fine between him and the players. There's a lot of chatter about him potentially getting fired. I don't get the impression that they think he is either the problem or their main problem. Their main gripe was Chris Drury. It's so rare that you hear a team collectively having a problem with management. It's usually a little more in the room. Oh, the coach has lost the room. This is an example where a GM who was an NHL player with a very respected career, very successful career, has lost a room full of today's NHL players. Jacob Trouba, we should have made a way bigger deal about his comment, getting fired by MSG is a rite of passage. That wasn't one player being an entitled brat. I think that was a guy speaking for the room. The one piece of good news that I had heard is these guys want to be Rangers. And the reason they're so upset, not necessarily.
Sorry, here. Put that back up there. Apologies.
Sorry, buddy. One day we'll get a producer and you won't even have to do this.
I'm the producer.
Want to be Rangers.
I know. You're the do it all, man.
Necessarily being trade me right now is they want Chris Drury to either change his ways or be gone.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I think that there's maybe so Lazarus and Colby Cohen both disputed that, saying they heard from Rangers players saying that's not the case. I don't fucking believe that for a fucking second. I think the players have people they use in the media. Now look, Lazarus and Cohen, they got to keep the relationships up. Johnny Lazarus is there for every home game. He's got to keep relationships up with the team. They just, that this is how it goes now. You can't, just for an example, one of the bigger Giants podcasts got reached out by the Giants because they were saying some pretty inflammatory shit about the Giants. By the way, all true. but the New York Giants are trying to control the narrative. Well, I'll tell you how you control the narrative. Don't be 2-10 and the absolute dumpster fire and your 100th anniversary of your team being a football team. That would be good. But you're exactly the opposite. They made the wrong choices, and they need to, answer for it. And New York Rangers fans deserve to get an answer from their team because, not very many people pay $2,500 per ticket per night to go to a game, but New York Rangers fans do. Those people that sit in the lower bowl, those ain't cheap seats, man. So, I understand it, man. I understand it from their perspective. I understand that girl's things. Okay. That the Capo thing was huge. I knew that was going to take up at least half the show. Thanks so much to RJ for coming on. Patrick Kane got his 475th career goal. That was kind of cool. Again, when people say he's going to be regarded as the greatest American player, I don't know, man. Like he has just kind of limped through the last few years here with the injuries and stuff. It's hard for me to. I don't know. He's not better than Keith Tkachuk.
He's sixth in American. He's sixth in American scoring. He just scored his first goal in 11 games. I mean, he's 28, 29 away from 500. Yeah, I mean, he could maybe scratch top 5.
Rico, how does math work in Canada? I just told you scored his 475th goal. So how far is he? How far is he from 500? 25 goals.
I didn't hear you say that. I just know he scored his first one in 11 tonight, and that game was just like watching paint dry. I don't know. Like Konechny scored like between the legger, and he tucked that in from about 5 feet out on his backhand. I was like, oh god, here we go. I mean, Patrick Kane maybe top 5 American-born player of all time. He might reach that by the end of his career. He probably will.
No, Shad, did you guys see a Montreal Canadiens trade? I didn't see one. By the way,
They sent Barron for Carrier to Nashville.
What?
Barron for Carrier to Nashville.
They traded Barron?
Yeah.
He's not very old.
No.
Neither is Carrier. They're both young.
Barry's 5 years younger.
No, Carrier's been in the league a while, Pearlo. He was on that Vegas team that won the cup.
No, not that Carrier.
Yeah, different
one. Are you talking about the defenseman Carrier?
Yeah.
Plays for Nashville.
Not Will Carrier, the other guy. Yeah. Carrier sounds French.
He was a New Jersey Devil for a little bit. I liked the trade for Nashville because they got the younger guy with a lower salary cap hit.
Yeah, no, I did not see that. I'll look for that trade. I mean, again, this is what sucks when you get traded on a day when a marquee player like, quote unquote marquee, but still a guy who was drafted number 2 overall. I honestly expected the Rangers to trade him this year, given how their season has gone. But okay, here we go. Strategic trade. The Montreal Canadiens have traded Justin Barron to Nashville Predators in exchange for Alexander Carrier. Carrier's 28. Yeah, he's not young.
Oh, is he 28? Wow. I thought he was like 20.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the guy who played for Vegas. I'm not wrong. He's in the first year of a 3-year contract at $3.75 million. So that's really good for well, and you know what? Montreal needed to add a little bit of age and veteran leadership to that roster. They've been, by the way, Laine has looked unbelievable. I think he's 6th in power play goals, and he's played like 7 games. He's already like 6th in power play goals. He had coming off the hat trick. Obviously, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about that because, there's all the other stuff going on. Bringing in his defensive experience and reliability in Montreal, Barron, who is expected to shine after being acquired in the previous trade, has not met those expectations in Montreal. This trade only aims to enhance the Canadiens' defense with a seasoned right-handed defenseman, but also provides Nashville with cap flexibility and a young player in their developmental pool. If I am Nashville, Barron's going right to Milwaukee. He should not be playing in the NHL right now. Again, defensemen aren't all Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes. Those are anomalies. So, but thank you, Sod. You are the man. I missed that trade. What happens sometimes when the show gets going? And Frank Saravelli had it. So yeah, I mean that one. A lot of people are gonna miss that one. So that's good. When it said Justin Barron, I was thinking of there's another kid on Montreal that is a young player. Rico would know right away. So let me check cap wages. We'll have it. And I'll know it right away. But I was like, ooh, they traded that guy? That's a big trade, but it's not who I was thinking of. Gooley, Caden Gooley. I was thinking Gooley, but no, it's not Gooley. And I don't even know if Gooley's playing up in the NHL right now, or he could be injured. I don't know.
I think he's playing now again. Great.
They got him on the non-roster.
Oh, really? Is he back on again? I thought I saw him.
No. Hold on. He's a defenseman, is he not?
Yeah. Goulet is a defenseman. Yeah. I just had it up here. Right?
Goulet. G-U-H.
G-U-H.
No, he's up. He's up.
Yeah.
He's already got a extension at 5.5.
Yeah,
5 year first
really
year
good.
of contract. Next year, his $5.5 million extension kicks in. He's 22, by the way. Left shot. They play him left shot, right shot defenseman. Plays both sides. So yeah, I like Carrier being in that list because you look, they have Matheson, Savard, solid. Jackeye, he's still young, 23. He's coming around. Justin Barron, obviously off the team now. Lane Hutson's been great for them. He's going to be ridiculous. Maybe that's why we don't see Gooley. They could have moved Gooley because Hudson's going to be a guy, and Hudson's 20. He already shines. And then Jaden Struble. Let's not forget they have that
Orville Redenbacher guy. Don't they have him too?
Reinbacher. They have Reinbacher.
Yeah.
He's playing over in Europe this year, which I think that ain't going to hurt. I talked to Zach Boychuk today a little bit. You guys remember Zach played in the NHL. He's playing in Berlin. I said, how's it going over there, man? He's going, it's great. It's going great.
What's his name? Redenbacher?
David Reinbacher.
Reinbacher. Oh, do you think they call him Popcorn? Orville Redenbacher?
I don't know, Rico.
Call him Popcorn.
How many beers did you have before the show?
Couple. Dude, it's my Saturday night right now. I'm off Wednesday,
I know. I'm
Thursday.
messing with you. I want you to. I want you to, dude. Have a good time. I appreciate it. The fact
It's
that
the
you
retail
are,
life, man. My weekends are Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, I feel you, brother. They got that Logan Mayu kid too, right? He's 21. He's playing in there for Laval this year. So they got some guys in there, dude. They got some dogs when they get, and he's a right shot D. So Reinbacher is too. They actually have Reinbacher on the IR. So he might be hurt, but I think he's playing. So hey, Andrew, thanks for being on this. By the way, guys,
Andrew.
42 people in here. Unbelievable.
Boys, what about the Toronto Maple Leafs finally found a third line with Domi, McMahon, and Robertson?
I
These
love
guys
it.
are unbelievable.
Did you see Nick Robertson's numbers against the Dallas Stars?
Yeah, 5-0.
5-0.
And Jason Robertson's parents moved to basically Dallas, so they're at his games all the time. And Nick plus 550 scored a goal tonight. I don't know why I didn't throw that one out on the show earlier today, but hit that.
But you
goal
bet it.
Yeah, I bet it. Yeah, but that third line, unbelievable. And bigger news, because Stolar is going to be out for a while, at least another month. Matt Murray in the AHL with the Marlies tonight, 27 save shutout, saying he's ready to go up with the big boys. All of a sudden, he's 30 years old. The guy's got no pelvis and no hip and no groin, but shutout tonight. AHL Marlies, look out, he's coming. But I love it, man. Domi's like the father figure on that line. I guess he likes to be like a little bit of a veteran, lead the line sort of guy, but put him with McMahon and Robertson. These guys have been playing unbelievable. So, and Ottinger and Joseph Woll came up in the U.S. development program together. So I guess Joseph Woll was always kind of in Ottinger's shadow a little bit. So you could tell the boys wanted to win that one for him. Plus 10 have played hard tonight, going back home to Dallas as well. So huge win. We talked about last night, Pearlo. It's a Berube game where you're going into Dallas. meant a lot to a couple of guys, and these are the ones where you just got to step up. And Nylander scored his 20th tonight, first Leaf player to 20 goals.
I was on the Leafs late though because I heard that Dallas had a flu going through the room. As soon as I heard that, I was all over the Leafs.
I mean, as much as Dallas had the flu, they outshot them 39-19.
But they were all in the first period and they just died after the first.
The Leafs got like 3 goals in a 6-minute span there.
Yeah.
Dadnoff scored early in the second, and that game was tilting a bit. But then
the Leafs scored 2 quick ones in like 16 seconds. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Nylander. Yeah, that Sam Steele goal against was a great goal. I was actually surprised Wall didn't come out further, but
boys, Willie Nylander's getting 50 goals this year.
He's playing good. Dude, I'm telling you, people that are counting out the Leafs. Oh, I think a goal just got waved off in the
and they put the top line together, so you got Marner, Nylander, and Matthews on the top line right now. If Berube stays with this line, this could be one of the best top lines in hockey. They're just talking about who's going to go get the puck, but Marner's been a little bit of a honey badger behind the net and in the corners and going to grab it for Nylander and Matthews. So if they keep that line together, Pacioretty, Tavares on the second line, don't mind it at all.
Actually, I'm going to jump in the chat for a sec. Derek, I heard they were trading Gibson and they were looking for more centers. So I don't know why. I don't know. I haven't in depth gone through the Ducks roster, but I feel like they have a decent amount of centermen.
We didn't even talk about the Ducks moving Cam Fowler, by the way. We didn't even get to that. What did you guys think of that trade since you brought up the Ducks? Mike, what do you think?
I was bringing up Derek's. I didn't even see the Fowler trade yet. I've been reading a little bit. I can tell you all about the new stars coming out, but I just don't know what the Ducks are going for the centerman.
The Carolina Hurricanes should add Gibson, and I don't think they'll have to give anything up for him. Anaheim just wants to get rid of him. If Carolina can take on the cap, bring Gibson, because they could bury him in the minors next year. So, by the way, Frank Vetrano was the guy who scored the goal for Anaheim, who has 18 shots to Winnipeg's 5. I think Winnipeg went out and, by the way, Winnipeg just tied it, as I said that on the power play, Velarde. But I was going to say, you think Winnipeg went out on the town there in Long Beach, California, or what is it? What's the one? You're muted, Rico.
Sorry, Newport Beach.
Newport Beach. Thank you, Rico. Yep, I knew you know. Isn't that where O-Dog and not O-Dog?
That's where Shane O'Brien and Scotty Upshaw have their Hall Pass Media studio for Missing Curfew.
Yeah, that's where the Missing Curfew boys are. Yeah, right there. Yep, and they're good. I would say they're probably the second.
That's a good pod. I love it.
Yeah,
I listen to that one start to finish.
That's a good one. I try to catch that one too. It's a good one.
Because Obi's still single. Well, he's got a girlfriend, but he's not a family guy, so he likes to just get the hockey talk going still. He's just not PG yet. He's PG-13. So
doesn't he have kids though?
Obi doesn't, no.
Okay, but Upshaw does.
Upshaw does, yeah.
Yeah. I always was a big fan of Scotty Upshaw. It's funny to see that he was a little. I always thought he was a bigger, kind of stronger guy. He just doesn't look like he's
just small guy. Good World Junior player, just hard nose, just good hits.
Talking about the Ducks there, you want to hear something Kevin Weeks put out? Did you hear about that?
No, go ahead.
What is Mason McTavish. Mason McTavish. He's heard buzz about Mason McTavish being on the block.
Yeah, no,
Pearlo. Didn't Hot Take Hockey mention this yesterday when he was on the show?
Did he?
I think.
Oh, yes, that's right. He did mention that. Yeah. He did mention that. So he must be asking.
I thought something happened now. And that's why I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, are you going to? If that's the case,
you're talking about the built guys with the fat faces.
That's right.
Yeah, I had a whole conversation about how I don't like his. He has a bad body, and he's not healthy. He can't stay healthy. I love the player, but he can't fucking stay healthy.
Sorry to cut you off, Mike. Sorry, buddy.
No, it's all right. I was thinking, do you staple gun them together, McTavish and Gibson, and go get?
Ooh.
But I don't know
They
what
better
do you get for
something
him?
solid back.
Yeah,
They need a pick.
a pick and a player though. But like, it's what I mean. Is anyone going to take an aging Gibson and a guy?
Playoff team will. Not
I
this
think
I think
McTavish
Gibson
is a
would be
drama
great
queen.
for Carolina. Carolina needs a backup goalie to pick Chekhov. Or Chekhov, there just was a thing today. He's got like 8 shutouts or some shit, like the most in the NHL in the last 2 seasons. Again, it doesn't hurt that he plays on the best defensive hockey in the NHL too. But you know, we could make the same argument for Marty Brodeur all those years playing in the New Jersey Trap. But I think Gibson is a perfect fit for Carolina. I think he will do well with their defense. He hasn't played under a good defensive system ever in his career, and ever in the whole time he's been there. So I think he'll be fine. I thought Pittsburgh wouldn't be a bad place for him, but they're actually doing really well right now. And I, you know, unless they traded Jari and swapped or something. But again, Anaheim would have to move Jari somewhere else. It would have to be like a 3-team deal because Stolarz is not Stolarz. Anaheim's goalie, Pearlo. We always talk about this guy.
The kid.
Stahl.
Go Stahl. Yeah. Go Stahl. Thank you, Rico. Yeah, how we like his game. Okay.
Darkness.
We're now almost an hour in, guys. Let's
for Carolina. I was gonna say.
Gibson to the Flyers is a sneaky one too.
If he's out of shape a little bit, go play with Brindamore and see how long that lasts for.
Yeah,
like McTavish would be a great place to go to get him in shape, or if that is the problem.
Yeah, but they're not going to trade McTavish to unless they're getting like, you know, Jackson Blake back or something. You know, they're not moving off McTavish unless they're getting.
They're going to have to get
like,
some
one of them
for sure. Yeah,
but sure. Carolina has a couple of, you know, they didn't even give up one of their top picks for Gensel. They gave up like the 4th or 5th guy in their they have a really good farm system. And speaking of teams that don't rush players, they don't rush players.
Yeah.
Like you get drafted by them, expect to play 5 years in their minor leagues. Like they will do it. Unless you're just an exceptional player like a Seth Jarvis. Although, okay, so we got 9 games tomorrow, Thursday. Of course, we'll be live 10:30 Eastern to talk about it. Matthew Tkachuk goal. Yep, 3-1. Thank you.
Oh, shit. I went and bet on Minnesota because I was thinking Florida last night. Then you guys talked me out of it.
I didn't bet on. I just bet the over.
Minnesota's been one of the best home teams.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm not surprised.
I know. I took a 4-shot parlay with Detroit, Toronto, Minnesota, and Anaheim. And Minnesota might be the one that buries me.
Well, you know, I mean, Rico, there's a lot of game left here. Let me just say this, Hartman. Boy, there's another guy.
I hope they come back. I got the over in that game. So,
well, yeah.
I know they had Billy Guerin on Kipper's show today too.
It was great. It was
I love Billy Guerin, man.
He's such a good interview. He says everything too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Kipper's like, hey, I'm gonna ask the hard hitting questions here, like not in any other show. What's going on with Kippersoft? You plan on keeping him? Guerin's like, well, we haven't had talks yet because, you know, we're not forced to. But then he's like, is he going to be in your team in the future? He's going to be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Said, so.
I don't know why this is even a conversation. Kippersoft is staying there.
Yeah.
He's staying there. The people that are making this rumor want to see him go to free agency is what it is. Because he's an exceptional player. He's going to win maybe the Richard and the Hart this year. I think he's leading the NHL in goals right now. The guy, every time I think he's out of it. So we'll see. This is going to be good.
Suter and Parisi are coming off the books right away. Like they got lots of space to sign. They're signing.
Dude, they have $14 million coming off this year.
Yeah.
This year. And the cap is going up. They're going to have an upwards of $18 million. And by the way, Kaprizov already makes like 9 something. I think they could get him in around 10 or 11. I'm just saying, from what I've heard about that team, I don't think he's going to take a huge deal. And honestly, they could pay him 15 and it won't affect them at all. They've been operating with that as a, and they're, he's a good player, man.
They didn't really have to pay him 9. They didn't really have to pay him 9 the last contract. It's possible they said, look, we'll give you lots now, but the next contract, can you shave it off a bit so we have more cap room? I bet you that's kind of how it went. So I think you could be right for sure.
Yeah.
And that's where the Leafs have to put a hard ball with Mitch Marner too, because his family's in Toronto. He does not want to go anywhere. So you don't have to fucking let him convince other teams that he's going to leave town. Like Kiprusoff's happy in Minnesota from what Garen said on the show today. So
he's not
those guys will take a little bit less to stay. Like, so
I
what
heard,
if they get an offer somewhere else? Say, take it. Go ahead.
He's
play
also
hardball.
from like just north of Mongolia in Russia. He comes from a very rural freaking area. So here's like Minnesota is like the perfect big city for him because you can get outside of that city pretty quick and it goes from not a lot to a little real freaking fast there.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Minnesota is probably right up his alley. Where he's from, the weather is probably similar to Minnesota. So, like, I just feel like it makes no sense for him to go anywhere else. I only hear that on Kipper's show. Like, I don't know why he's always trying to make a big deal out of this. Maybe because he knows how special the player is and would love to see him on the Toronto Maple Leafs if they don't re-sign Mitch Marner.
They or on a Canadian team in the national hour, whatever, right?
Yeah, and I get that 100%. I just don't see him leaving. Doesn't make any sense. Let's get into the 9 games we have tomorrow. First, starting off with the Blues at Lightning. What are you guys thinking there, Pearlo?
You starting with me on that one?
Yeah, you're going to start. We're going to go clockwise, and we'll go back.
The Blues, so I think the new coach smell is wore off. The Blues. I was really impressed with how well Tampa Bay played coming off that long Western road trip, and I don't think they're going to slow down here. Like they look like a team that knows that if they can get that top spot, or they need to get as high up in the lineup, they're not as full of all the players that they had before. So if they can get an easy first round or an easier one, anyways, I think it's important to them. So I don't think they're going to be screwing around with St. Louis here, and I think St. Louis. I don't like St. Louis's team. They changed the coach. He's a good coach, and he raw-rawed them for a couple games. But I think you'll see St. Louis become St. Louis again, and I think you'll see it here. I'll take Tampa Bay in regulation.
Rico.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's a spot here. I think either in regulation or -1.5. Tampa's got a home and home against their South State rivals right after this. They play the Panthers twice after this. So
yeah, that's a good game usually. Those are usually good games.
Yeah, so they're gonna want to make sure they put a win in the bank going into this game when Florida comes in. They're building a couple nights later. So I think
Tampa's in the Atlantic as well, right? Or are they in the Metro? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, Tampa's in the Atlantic.
Yeah, so they're in the same division as the Panthers.
Yeah, some say it could be a look-ahead spot to this back-to-back home and home against the Panthers coming into the weekend.
No.
But I think that Tampa, after beating Columbus at home off that road trip, that was a Columbus spot. Tampa coming back from out west.
Well, and Columbus got back in that game. Like, Tampa could have lost that game. Like, Columbus outworked them in the third, outscored them 3-0. I think did Tampa end up getting an empty netter there? But that was a 4-3 game. There was 4-0 Tampa in the first. So Columbus climbed right back in that. So I'm with you on that one. But you love Tampa here against the Blues. That's your final. What do you think of the over/under 6?
Yeah, God. Give me the under. I think Tampa is just going to have Florida in the back of their mind. They're just going to want to quietly take care of the Blues so they can get some rest because there's a big couple games coming up. And that's a back-to-back Sunday, Monday against the Panthers after this.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not going to be a run-and-gun game, I don't think.
So you like Tampa Bay?
I like the under, more importantly, if you're getting a 6 or a 6.5.
Okay, yeah, and by the way, the Blues are 3 points out of a playoff spot behind the Utah Hockey Club, which they're tied with, and the Avalanche and Flames are supposed to have 36 points, but the Flames have a game in hand on the Avalanche, so therefore they're sitting in that final wild card right now. It's crazy to me the Avalanche aren't in a playoff spot right now, and we still talk about them being cup contenders. I've actually been more impressed with the Blues this year than I have with the Avs. Perlo, I'll just say that. Okay, Mike, Blues, Lightning, where are you at on this? What do you think? If you're not touching it, what's the deal? And then
Juice is too high.
Right back to you for Devils Blue Jacket.
Juice is too high for Tampa for me. I don't like taking 1.5.
Yeah, you don't like it because the -280.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I love Tampa here, but I'm not.
Yep, I agree with
if
you.
the odds come down, sure, but not at 200 plus. No, thank you. Rolling in New Jersey, Columbus, same story actually. I love New Jersey, but I get -215. Maybe it's a parlay, but juice is too high for me to throw money on it because like that what if, like maybe this is a $5 flyer on Columbus just for the funsies, but
this is what scares me about the teams that are playing the Blue Jackets. Just a caveat on what you're saying in this game. So I'm saying you're staying away from it, am I guessing? And I don't blame you.
Yeah.
The Blue Jackets are beating good teams this year, and they could win this game easily against the Devils. I have not been that big of a fan of the Devils game. They have a tough time they look very much like Toronto did the last couple of years. A lot of talent, but not a lot of ability to keep the puck out of their own net. That should not be a problem with Jake Allen and Markstrom. And honestly, with their defensive core. So I just wonder their forward group is a little undersized. There's something about that team that I think they're going to hit a wall in the playoffs. But yes, Avi, Devils have played great the last 3 games and well dominated the Leafs in a 2-1 loss. Absolutely, man. They look great in that game and lost. That's what I'm saying. They remind me of the Toronto Maple Leafs from a couple years ago under Sheldon Keefe. They would dominate teams and lose 2-1. So, Rico, does that ring a bell? What are you thinking here, Blue Jackets Devils?
Yeah, I love the Devils here.
Okay.
The Devils gave up 5 goals in their last 4 games. They're playing well defensively. It's on regular rest. It's just going to be a business trip over to Columbus, bank the win.
Not even a far trip. So
yeah, I mean they went from St. Louis to Columbus.
Yeah, even easier.
Not a huge deal here, but
they know they're on their way home.
The only thing is Columbus lost 5 in a row. They're going to come out spirited. Columbus at home sometimes they'll just get a sneaky win against a pretty good team. So
this year too, they're 12. I mean, they're not far removed from right now. Columbus is a better team than the Canadiens by 2 whole points, and they're 3 whole points ahead of the Sabres, and they're right on the tails of the Red Wings and Islanders and Rangers. If they win a game, if they win this game, they will be tied with the Rangers and Islanders for points. And they're not that far off. They're 2 points. They're 4 points back from Pittsburgh, who is 1 point off the wild card. That's Ottawa right now. I just feel like I love how Dean Evason's got these boys playing, man. And some of these young guys are really starting to step up for Columbus. But they did right by a lot of their young guys, too. They made a lot of them play in the league longer in the AHL. And I think that is good. It's never bad. You shouldn't rush these guys. Give them minutes. Jim Nill did it today. Did you hear him? Rico on Kipper and Bourne.
Yeah, great interview. He's so soft-spoken, like a really well-spoken guy.
Yeah.
Jim Nill.
How can you say there hasn't been a better drafting team than the Dallas Stars? You can't. In the last 10 years, I think they've straight dominated. They've gotten franchise players in the same draft. Ottinger, Heiskanen, was it Robertson? Like ridiculous. Okay, that's one draft, 1 year. If you get 3 or 4 good NHLers in the same draft, they have that Bishop kid is coming. He got a goal against the Caps. He's a massive too, by the way. Everybody was worried about their D. Why has that kid not been playing? They have it in spades, but they will not rush their talent. And Jim Nill said it today. He's like, I want the guys to play hockey. What good is it going to do? We talked about this, a guy being up at the NHL and get 7 minutes. Okay, Soapbox
Yeah,
off.
well, Jim Neal also said that Miro Haskinen's a mixture between Nick Lidstrom and Scott Niedermayer, and he also said Anton Lundell or whatever the other defenseman is probably one of the best defensive defensemen in the league. So
I don't disagree.
He speaks highly of his players.
Heiskanen got robbed tonight by Joseph Wall, too. He had an unbelievable scoring chance, and Joseph Wall had to make a 10-bell save. Pretty good save by Joseph Wall. So, Rico, you're taking the Devils in this one. Pearlo, how you feeling? Devils, and then as soon as you get done with that game, kick it over to Kings Flyers.
Yeah, I like the Devils, but I kind of like Blue Jackets in the first period. I think the Devils could be a little lazy in the first period. And the Blue Jackets are a great first period team. So for the value, I would take the Blue Jackets first period, and then I would live bet the Devils after that. That's what I would do. Something like that.
Yeah, awesome. Kings Flyers, Pearlo?
Yeah, Flyers playing a really ratchety game here. Kings coming off a loss against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but not on a back-to-back, though. The Flyers are on a back-to-back.
Back-to-back, yeah. They got to play one of those Russian goaltenders, right? I got to go with LA here. I got to go. Philadelphia has problems with these speedy teams. They're not really all that fast, so LA's playing really fast right now. And they even played that against Pittsburgh, but kind of let it go in the third. So I don't think they're going to let it go this time. I'll take LA. Probably not getting a good price here, though. Again, taking all the favorites today. So in regulation, but I'm not even looking at the numbers right now. I'm just going by what I think. So
yeah, Rico, what are you thinking in this game? Then we'll get it over to Mike, and then Mike, you will take that and then go right into Pittsburgh, Nashville.
I like LA here too. They're sitting in Philly already, waiting for Philadelphia there. But I mean, Kolosov played good. He only let in 1 goal on 26 shots against the Wings last time he was out, but got burned the last couple times in Boston against Florida. But Kings regulation here. This road trip means a lot for LA, and they need to bank points.
Yeah, I agree. And they've actually been a really good team. Like they're 18-9, so pretty darn good. Mike, who are you feeling here? Are you touching this game or?
Yeah, I get the Kings at -155, so that's something I'm taking them. Flyers on a back-to-back. They just got burnt out against Detroit today, heartbreaker. So I they're going to be. It's still a short flight, but it's a jet lag flight. So give me the Kings.
Yeah.
Penguins
Pred. Penguins are a road dog.
I know
against the Pred. Man, the Pens have been playing some pretty good hockey, getting a lot. Ricard Raquel leads them in goals, 14. Been really good with them this year. I don't know, man. And Pittsburgh keeps adding young guys, like they get P.L. Joseph back. I like that. He played well for them when he was with them. Clearly, they wanted him back in the fold. He says he's not touching Rico, I would take the Pens at plus money.
See, I was going goal line. What's it? Goal line Jesus or something like that? You call it?
Puck line Jesus.
Puck line Jesus. Give me puck line Jesus on the Preds actually at home. They got to string 2 wins. They haven't won 2 in a row yet this year. So, or maybe they did it once. So
this would be their 10th win of this season.
Hey,
if they win.
I drank a lot of
They're
Kool-Aid.
9-17-6. If they're going to climb out of this shit, they got to win the games they got to win. I like Pittsburgh plus money. Rico, Mike's on the Preds, puck line Jesus.
Mike's still wearing water wings, swimming in the Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of Kool-Aid still to go over here. A lot of Kool-Aid.
Dude, I like to back a team off a win, especially a team that just needs to start banking wins. But, I mean, they went Nashville, lost to Calgary, beat Dallas, and lost the Avalanche, beat the Rangers. Now, what is it? Lose to the Penguins, and you got the Kings coming in town Saturday afternoon. Oh, man. Tough call. The only thing I could think of is backing Nashville here because they finally put Stamkos at center on the top line with Marceau and Forsberg, and they moved O'Reilly down to the second line.
Yeah.
So I think they might have the matchups here against a Crosby line. But Yossi's healthy again, is he not?
I thought he was out. Let me look. I thought he was out for a while.
He's listed day to day, but out.
Yeah, he's day to day, lower body. Those ones out. I mean,
he's not listed. Oh no, I don't have him listed. Oh no, I do. They have him out on here. Roman Yossi out. Alex Carrier out. So Carrier they traded.
Well, yeah, dude, and Nashville's all of a sudden just thin on the back end. Very, very thin on the back end. There's not much there, man. You got Brady Shea and Luke Jen's gonna have the Crosby assignment that night, so I don't know.
Yeah, but Crosby he can stay with now. Crosby doesn't burn. He's not beating anybody up the ice.
Yeah.
The only way he does it is with his intelligence now. He has to use all his hockey IQ to kind of get to the open areas, and nobody moves the puck like him still, but he's not gonna be the guy that's
Yeah, I think this is a draw game. Take a draw.
Okay, Pearlo, Penguins, Preds, and then when you get done with that, kick right over to Seattle Kraken, Blackhawks.
I'm gonna go weird here. That Carrier trade, you can say whatever you want. He was much better than Barron. Barron might be, really good.
Oh, Barron is 20 years old, man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. For now, I'm talking about for now. He could be great down the road. But for right now, but
I'm saying
they lost.
Yeah, Montreal adds much that. Yeah, but let's talk about the game here.
It doesn't matter about the trade. I'm talking about the game.
We got a bunch of games.
Barron comes in as a rookie kid. He's not that great right now. Carrier is better right now. And like what Rico was saying, their defense is bad.
So you think
I think Pittsburgh's going to win, and I think
you don't like.
I think they're going to win handily.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's plus money, plus 120.
Yeah, I'm taking
Pittsburgh.
This
is free money
for sure. I'm taking Pittsburgh for sure. I could be wrong here, but I don't like Nashville.
No, I'm with you, Perlo.
So
I think Rico and Mike are overthinking it. Pittsburgh, I've been watching them. They've been playing good hockey. They need to bank wins way more than Nashville because Nashville ain't making no fucking playoffs. I like Pittsburgh plus money. You're getting plus money against the worst team in the NHL with Sidney Crosby. No, thanks. And you know what? Carlson's playing really good. He's getting takeaways. Like they're playing good hockey right now. I would not want to play Pittsburgh.
They got 2 wins.
Right now, obituaries
too was in a bad spot, and the Rangers, who we already know about the Rangers, Nashville. So Pittsburgh is going to win this game.
So Kraken, Blackhawks. Blackhawks coming off a huge win against the Capitals where they come back and win the game, but they looked really good most of that game. Caps didn't look great. It was a back-to-back for them. No excuses. Blackhawks get the win 3-2. Seattle gets the Capo Kakko bump. It's in Chicago. I'm not sure. We don't even know if Kakko is going to be in the lineup for them. I'm assuming he will be. That guy's going to score. You got to have a goal-scoring prop on Capo Kakko tomorrow, Rico, if he's in the lineup. Perlo, who you like here, Blackhawks or Kraken? Blackhawks at plus money I don't hate because they've actually been solid, but and I think they could out physical the Seattle team, but let's see how Capo Kakko does.
I'm going to go. I think you're right. I think Chicago has been playing better under their new coach. You get the bump from Seattle. I feel like both of those things equals offense here. I hope Grubauer is in net. If Grubauer is in net, I like the over here. I like over.
Grubauer's actually been pretty solid for the Kraken this year.
He's in and out. I take DeCord over Grubauer all day long. So if he's
because DeCord is their starter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like because Grubauer is in, he's the lesser.
I can agree with you, Perlo.
I'll take the over.
They made DeCord the 1A, so I'm with you. You like the Kraken here, okay? It is DeCord as our Bostonian friend Mike.
Yeah, they're showing DeCord right now.
Yeah, this will definitely be an interesting game. I'll be watching Prime Video here. Prime Video, unless you're in a non-blackout area, ESPN Plus, you should be able to watch it, no problem, Perlo. Watch the Seattle broadcast, unbelievably good. John Forsland, Eddie Olczyk, not too shabby. JT Brown.
I don't have to. Yeah, I like the over.
Okay, Rico, Blackhawks, Kraken.
Yeah. Like you said, the belief of the Kako bump, and they basically need to start making a run and maybe try and get another game or two before the Christmas break. But Chicago's not a bad home team. They suck on the road, but they compete at home. So that's the only thing, because they get the matchups there with some of their young guys in their lineup and the new coach there. So like Pearlo said, he equals off. And you take a flyer and take Chicago, because you'll probably get a better price on them.
Yeah, plus 120 is what you're getting on Chicago right now. And the over-under in that game is 5.5. So I wouldn't mind the over there. I think you'll see some scoring.
Yeah.
But, the last game the Blackhawks had, the Capitals was under that easy. So, okay, Mike, you thinking Kraken Blackhawks here?
I'm thinking the Kraken. I like, if Decord's going, I really like the Kraken.
Yeah.
If it's Grubauer, I really like the over. But it's hard for me to bet.
Yeah, I think Grubauer has actually been pretty stellar for them as of late. Like, look at his last few starts. I'll have to look it up here on Cap Friendly, but I think he's actually had a pretty nice little stretch there. Okay, Mike.
Say
why don't
Kako Kraken real fast 3 times.
Nope.
Kako scores for the Kraken 3 times fast.
Nope.
Okay, Senators Flames. Mike, what do you like there? Senators Flames.
If Allmark's supposed to be going, I'm taking the Sens.
God, both these teams, I think, are going to be making the playoffs. Maybe, dude. I think Kadri is like tearing it up. Like, this might be his. Like, there's the whole trade for Kadri, get him in the Leafs lineup. Good God, dude, they're not going to be able to, because the Flames aren't going to trade him, even though they should. He's playing too well for him. I think he leads them in goals, 12, yes. And then they don't have a big assist guy, which is odd. But Huberdeau's been playing decent for them this year too. So that Dustin Wolf guy. Anyway, you like Senators. Flames are the home dog. Rico, how are you feeling?
Well, like Mike said, man, if Allmark gets a start here, I don't know, man, because Anton Forsberg's not traveling with the team right now. There's something going on with him, and their third goaltender is Levi Merikalainen.
If you don't know his name, it's bad.
Yeah, dude, he's got no games, and so he's a 22-year-old guy from Oulu, Finland, and he's a third-round pick back in 2020. So
watch him have a shutout, like a 55.
Hey, dude, yeah, because you don't know his top shelf or his 5.
You don't know Urolukalainen? No, he's actually got pretty decent pads. Not bad when you fire down low. He's got an awful glove.
Okay.
But
Levi Merikalainen?
Merikalainen.
I don't like his
Perlo's
glove.
heard of him. Have you heard of him, Pearlo?
Yeah, I'm too much of a hockey geek. Stupid. I shouldn't even know.
Pearlo watches a divorce
I don't know if anybody knew his fucking name after Rico said it.
I watch a divorce-worthy amount of hockey. You're right. Yes.
Okay. Your wife hates it.
You got to roll with Ottawa here, man. You know what? Maybe Forsberg's just undisclosed, because that makes sure Allmark makes these starts and he doesn't give anybody a reason that he can't play. So he's like, too bad, Allmark. You got to play. I'm undisclosed right now. So, I mean, I'll take the Sens here, winning 4 in a row. Thing is, regular rest Saturday. They haven't played since Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, they're in the Canucks, so regular rest. Let Allmark roll. Well, they're going to have to play one of them, either against the Canucks or Edmonton this weekend, but this will be an Allmark start. Then they'll either probably play Allmark on Sunday at the Oilers, and then they're back up against the Canucks. So bet the Canucks Saturday night against Ottawa, but Allmark in the Sens tomorrow in Calgary. Yeah.
Okay, Perlo.
I love Ottawa here. I love Ottawa here. I like Ottawa to absolutely ruin Calgary here. So, Ottawa, everything, team total over, everything.
Okay, awesome. Let's go right. Let's have you jump right into Bruins Oilers. This is an interesting one to me. Bruins plus 154. The Oilers are playing really good. I don't know how you take anybody else.
Yeah, 8-2
Boston
in a
did
row.
come back though and beat the Flames down 3-1 or something in that game, and they came back and won in overtime. So, yeah, I don't know though. I don't like anything about Boston this year. They're playing better too. They're playing really good actually.
Our lobsters are some of the best in the country. That's something like about Boston this year. Oh, yeah. If we're talking about the hockey team, then no, there's nothing good about us.
Oh. I'd love to visit Boston for the lobsters.
Dude, why don't you
go
come
to
down
Maine.
there when the U.S. Yeah.
Maine, Bar Harbor, Maine's got the better lobsters. But
why don't you come down? Mike's got a ticket. Go ahead, Mike.
I would say if we go for lobsters, Bar Harbor and Bath, those are the two places you should go. They're technically in Canadian waters, so they're not too far from you.
Sweet. Yes. Head over to Quebec and then head south.
Yeah. How far are you from Quebec? Are you closer to Quebec than you are your hometown of Thunder Bay, Ontario?
Yeah. The wife's going to Ottawa, and that's 4 hours away. Then they're going to Quebec City for Christmas in a couple days.
Nice.
And that's another 4 hours away. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, we got to come up with a Christmas schedule too, because there's no games, I think. So there won't be a reason to be on. Yeah, I got to look at the games here. Okay, yeah. So obviously we'll probably be off next week is what's going to happen. Rico, who do you like here?
Yeah, I like Edmonton. It's hard to bet the Bees on the road here. Long road trip for them.
Yep.
This is their last one before they head home. So, I mean, they emptied the tank a little bit. It was like a couple big losses, man, at Winnipeg at the Kraken. Then they went in Vancouver and won handily, but OT win against Calgary. So, I mean, they banked a couple wins, so Edmonton might whip them around a little bit, miss them before they head back home. I don't know. Yeah. Edmonton's just too fast. I mean, I don't know. Boston can match Edmonton's speed.
Yeah. I'm not touching this game. Yeah.
McDavid didn't score last game. I'm putting money on McDavid scoring. That's my bet. I'm not going to bet against the Bruins, but I'm not going to bet on them this game either.
He's putting money on McDavid.
Yeah. I would throw $10 on the Bruins just because plus 154 is nice and they could beat Edmonton. But Pearlo, what do you think here? You're the Edmontonian, no longer ex-Edmonton.
Came off that like really emotional loss to Florida. Because I mean that was a huge game. And Boston's kind of on a high right now. I don't like I'm like you. I don't like the money on the Oilers here. It was a minus 185. I don't know if they deserve that. Right? Maybe they do, but I like Boston first period. I think Edmonton might come in a little down on themselves from that Florida, and Boston's on a high on this road trip. So I think they could pooch out because it's been a long road trip in the second and third. But I think the first period, Boston's got a shot here. So I'll take Boston first period money line.
I like what Avi says. Bees will compete. I think that's what he means. Compete. Yep. McDavid is definitely scoring. Okay. He had 0 shots in the net last game. Yep. Okay. Pearlo, why don't you just go ahead and take Canucks Gold Knights? Let's go right into that, and then we'll go through the thing there. What do you think there? That's a great game.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough game.
That's going to be one on the TV. For sure.
I haven't been watching that game. What's going on with the game right now?
1-0 Vancouver.
Oh shit! Said if they did grind out a win against Utah tonight, I was taking the Golden Knights all day. So I'm taking the Golden Knights all day tomorrow.
I'm going to take the Golden Knights all day too. They've been home for a few days. They're sitting at home pretty. It's tough to go in there, and Aiden Hill's like 7 feet tall. It's tough to get anything by him at home.
Yeah,
Never mind Vancouver's
they are
still in
playing
the
so good defensively too. Like,
yeah,
they're just never going to lay an egg. They're going to win the Pacific easily. Edmonton's too inconsistent. They go on these big streaks, but then they'll lose a few.
Yeah, the second pair on Team Canada at the Four Nations is a Golden Knights defensive pair. Like they won't let anything by them, and if they do, you got 7 foot tall Aiden Hill waiting in net for you.
Yeah. By the way, we missed it, but Florida got another goal late by Matthew Tkachuk, so he has 2 in the second. They're up 4-1.
Oh,
so Matthew Tkachuk on hat trick left.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there you go, Pearlo. I think you're going to get it, man. There's 19-20 left in that game.
Oh, good.
So,
okay, good. Should get the over.
Yeah.
Killed my
Mike,
parlay.
what do you think your Canucks Golden Knights?
Give me the Knights. If Aiden Hill's rolling, it looks like Vancouver's in a battle right now with Utah, so it's tough getting that.
Yeah, 1-0 still. Into the second, by the way. Into the second.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to rest. And I am someone that thinks jet lag plays
is your goal scorer.
Oh, I know that guy. It's like we drafted him or something. And twice, actually.
Yeah, he's been really good. Yeah, he's been really good.
The Bruins better re-sign Trent Frederick because he's a Boston player.
I think they should trade him to St. Louis. He's a St. Louis guy. I think he can get something for him. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to get $4 or $5 million on the open market. And I don't think Boston's prepared to pay him that. They're just cheap. And they may not be able to keep him long term either. So to have that guy locked up for like $20 million,
he doesn't
score enough.
Here.
Yeah. I think he'll test UFA. Canucks Gold Knights, Mike, or
Knights.
Okay. All right. Avalanche Sharks, last game of the night. Boy, the Avalanche are fun to watch, and the Sharks are fun to watch. The Sharks right now are can't miss TV. I'll have to watch this game. It's a 10:30 start time too, so it's a late one because it's in San Jose. What do you think, Mike?
Start when we're on.
Give me the Sharks. I'm done to take the plus money.
Yeah, plus 210 the Sharks are. Okay, yeah.
Georgiev's listed.
Yeah, the Sharks are not losing games by more than a goal. They should have beat Winnipeg the other day. But they gave up the lead late. So
this will be Georgiev against his old team.
That's why I'm taking it.
Yeah, I think Georgiev played the last game, so it might be Vitek Vanacek. But Rico, what do you think?
It's going to be Georgiev for sure.
Check it.
Well, and it's also Blackwood against his old team too. So take your pick there.
That's true. Yeah,
but Blackwood. They did Blackwood a solid. They're like, hey, let us trade you to this Stanley Cup contender.
Yeah.
Blackwood is good. Somebody's going to pay him some money in the offseason, whether that be Colorado or not. He's getting a substantial raise.
So the guys that ran the team said, okay, Blackwood, we're trading you to Colorado. This is a huge favor we're doing for you. So when you come back here and you play our team, you make sure you lose this game because I got $1 million on it. Okay, no problem. I'll go to Colorado.
If you put $1 million on plus 210, it might raise some eyebrows on a regular season Avalanche Sharks game. That's not your typical bet.
Okay, we'll put 100 on it. You know what? Give me the Sharks because it's Georgiev in San Jose. The guy's just going to be focused, laser focused. Team's going to want to rally around him.
If you can shut down Colorado's top line and deal with Nichushkin, because he's been really good since he's been back, nobody's talking about it. Colorado is a sieve defensively right now.
Don't put Cody Ceci on him.
I'll tell you what. I think the Sharks have the best defensive defenseman in Mario Ferraro in the league. That guy is so fucking good. I see him blocking shots, just like making unbelievable defensive plays, taking the stick off guys' pucks. I heard he's a great locker room guy. I know Hot Take Hockey's been trying to manifest that guy to the Leafs because he's like Chris Tanev 2.0. Really like that guy. Pearlo, you are the final one today. Sharks, Avalanche. What do you like?
Colorado's
Don't have
got
to touch
Anaheim.
it
It's sort of like the Winnipeg spot for Colorado here. They got Anaheim right after this too. Oh, what the hell? I'll go with San Jose too, just for the Gorgiev angle and all that kind
Lead
of stuff.
sweep. We all want the Sharks. What a great way to end.
Yeah, revenge game.
Yeah,
okay.
I probably yeah. What the hell? Throw like some pizza money on San Jose here.
Yeah, $5. That plus 210. Can't lose. I love the show today. I want to thank RJ Eskinos again. I want to end the show on this note. Justin Schultz retired, 2-time Stanley Cup champion with Pittsburgh. He played with the Caps, though. He played with the Seattle Kraken. He played with the Edmonton Oilers. I think he was drafted by Anaheim. He was a college guy that wasn't going to sign there at the time. I think he made a good decision for himself. Didn't work out in Edmonton, but he ends up putting his career together in Pittsburgh, wins a couple of cups. Big part of those 16, 17 cup teams, scored some big goals for Pittsburgh. Thought he was a class guy on and off the ice. Obviously played for the Caps too. Kind of sad he couldn't get a job. He's not that old. He's like 34. So, but comes for us all, man. Father Time, undefeated. So I just wanted to end on that. Justin Schultz. Where did he go to college, Mike?
Schultz.
He's a college guy. He's an American guy too, I believe, right? Oh no, he's a Canadian.
Yeah, I think
he's Canadian.
I want to say QM, the QM JHL.
No. He was a U.S.
college in Boston, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to U.S. college.
No, he went to a Boston college area.
He's from Kelowna. I knew he was Canadian. Okay.
Oh, Wisconsin.
I was pretty sure he was Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yep.
He played in Wisconsin.
He played at the University of Wisconsin. Yep. Yeah.
Is that the Badgers?
Yeah. They're good. They were in the WCHA at the time. That was the division UAA was in. Michigan was in that. Minnesota was in that. That WCHA was like nasty. Bemidji State. There's some really good schools in there. Colorado College, Denver.
Lake Superior won 2 natties in that division.
Oh, Lake Superior State.
Yeah.
They're out of Madison, no?
Yeah. I think they're in Michigan, aren't they? Lake Superior.
I couldn't tell you where they're from. I've only seen them twice, and they've been out here when I saw them.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
But that old WCHA was a force. It wasn't even fair to everyone else. Damn, Badgers killed me last weekend too.
Okay.
Badgers kill a lot of things.
Yeah, Kyle Connor scored. Yep, 2-1. Kyle Connor.
Joshua scored for Vancouver. It's up 2-0.
Oh, all right. Good for him. He needs to get going too. He had that wasn't really talked about. Lake Superior State is where are they? Is a collegiate hockey team program that resides at Lake Superior State.
Velarde get a point there by chance? Because I have.
They play at Taffy Elba Arena in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. So they play where isn't the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds? Isn't that an OHL team?
Yeah, that's far away though. Sioux City.
That's in Michigan, isn't it? Sault Ste. Marie.
No, there's a Sioux, Michigan. There's a Sioux, Ontario.
It's right on the border.
Sault Ste. Marie is in the Upper Peninsula of the United States of Michigan. Okay.
Yeah. Then there used to be the Sioux City Musketeers in the USHL too.
13,000 people live in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. 13,337 to be exact. So it is a small town. Small. All right. Okay. No, I'm not donating Wikipedia. Fuck off. Okay. All right. So that's the show. Peace, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. We will not have any shows next week. We'll be off for the week. Christmas decision. So no shows. There's no games up until Friday. So
Pearlo could run a show on your channel though, no?
Yeah. So You think he could, but you know, he's got to figure out the operating system. We'll figure it out. But no shows, man. Christmas time, be with your families, do family stuff. Mike, we will definitely have the college hockey show tomorrow, or Friday, excuse me, but we will not have one next week because there won't be any games and stuff, right? So, because of the holiday break and stuff. So, yeah.
Alaska's playing. Yeah. Both Alaskas are playing. There's 5 games, and 2 of them involve Alaska.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So no one cares anyway. I mean, UAF's pretty good. So yeah, we will. We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll be back Friday. But then we'll be off next week for Christmas, and we'll be back the next week. Okay, everybody. Appreciate you. See you later. Have a good one. Hasta mañana.